I can still hear the front door groan the way it always did that night I got home. It was nearly midnight, the kind of hour when the quiet presses in so hard it feels like the walls themselves are listening. My heels clicked sharply against the wooden floor, the sound bouncing down the hallway long before I even saw him. Daniel sat on the couch, TV muted, a half-empty glass of whiskey in his hand. The pale blue glow from the screen washed over his face, highlighting its stillness. But his eyes, those dark, unwavering eyes, were alert, alive. "You're late," he said softly. Not a question, not an accusation, just a quiet observation. That was the worst part. I could handle anger. Anger was straightforward, familiar. This calm, measured silence made my chest tighten. I forced a smile, pretending everything was normal. The party ran late. You know how it goes, music, drinks, catching up. I trailed off. He didn't return my smile. He simply watched me, and for a brief moment, I could have sworn he already understood. I hadn't gone to that party by accident. I had been wrestling with the decision for months. It wasn't spontaneous, it was intentional. I convinced myself I just wanted to feel alive again, to touch a piece of the woman I used to be, desired, seen. Daniel hadn't touched me in weeks. Our conversations had become transactional. We shared a house, not a life. So when Mia invited me to a small gathering, just a few couples, some singles, I said yes without hesitation. I told Daniel it was girls only. He didn't question it. That indifference stung more than any argument ever could. At the party, I stepped into a world that seemed like a parallel version of my life. People laughed easily. Eyes lingered. Compliments came unfiltered. A man named Chris approached me, tall, confident, effortlessly charming in a way that made my cheeks warm. We talked for hours. Music, travel, love, marriage, how fleeting everything could be. He made me feel visible. It wasn't about him, not really. It was about me. The me who had faded under the quiet, the distance. But logic like that never survives guilt. By the time I returned home, that whispering guilt had become a roar. Daniel hadn't moved from the couch. "How was it?" he asked, finally setting his glass down. "Fine," I replied, striving for casual, as I kicked off my shoes. "Fine," he repeated, calm, measured. But the word prickled at my skin. "Did you enjoy being with other men?" My breath caught. He leaned forward slightly, elbows on his knees. "Did you have fun being with other men?" My heart pounded. "No anger, no shouting, just hurt. Worse than any rage." "Daniel, he sighed, pulling out his phone. He scrolled for a moment, then turned the screen toward me. A photo. Me laughing with Chris, his hand brushing my arm. Someone had shared it online. Nothing scandalous. Nothing incriminating. But intimate enough to pierce a husband's heart. "It's just a picture," I said quickly. "You're reading too much into it." His eyes softened, but his voice remained low. "No, Emily. I'm not reading enough. I've known something was missing for a long time. I just didn't want to admit it." That broke something in me. Not guilt exactly, not shame, but a quiet, crawling ache that burrowed deep. I wanted to explain that it wasn't about another man. It was about us, the emptiness that had grown silently between us. But I couldn't. I only stood there, speechless, weighed down by every choice I'd made. After a long silence, he stood, walked past me, paused at the doorway. "I hope it was worth it," he said softly. Then he went upstairs, leaving me alone in the living room with the hum of the TV and the lingering scent of whiskey. For the first time, I realized maybe it wasn't him who had stopped trying. It was me. I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch until sunrise, staring at the empty glass Daniel had left behind. Every groan of the house felt accusatory. I thought about going upstairs, waking him, trying to explain. Explain what? That I wanted attention? That I wanted to feel something he hadn't given me in months? None of it sounded like love. Only excuses. By morning, he was gone. His car missing from the driveway. The coffee pot still warm, a quiet proof of his presence, of thought, of decision. I checked my phone. Nothing. No call, no message. Just the photo, me laughing with another man, circulating silently among friends who would now whisper about the wife I had become. Around noon he texted, "Don't worry, I just needed space. I'll be home tonight." Relief flickered, then dread. Space, the very thing we already had too much of. That evening, when he returned, the air between us felt heavy, charged. He didn't look angry. He looked resolved, like a man who had finally accepted something painful. He entered the kitchen, grabbed a bottle of water, then faced me. "Do you love me, Emily?" The question startled me. No bitternis. Just quiet, almost sad sincerity. "Of course I do," I said, words spilling faster than I intended. "You're my husband." He nodded slowly. "Then why did you go there?" I opened my mouth, closed it again. How could I explain I didn't go there for someone else? I went there to find the version of myself I lost in our silent marriage. I whispered finally. But even in my mind, it sounded hollow. I just wanted to feel alive. And you couldn't feel alive here with me? That cut deeper than any accusation could. Somewhere along the way, we had both stopped trying, settling into numb routine. But I was the one who crossed the line trying to fix it the wrong way. He sighed, leaning against the counter. "You know what's funny? I thought I'd failed you. That I wasn't enough. Now I see it wasn't about enough. It was about wanting different. Tears welled. That's not fair, Daniel. Maybe not, he said softly, but neither was what you did. He turned toward the hallway. Panic surged. Please don't leave, I said. I'm not leaving, he replied, but things will be different now. And he went upstairs. I didn't follow. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the cracks in the wood, remembering nights we had laughed over burnt pasta and bad movies. How far we had fallen. Weeks passed. Silence transformed, not into avoidance, but into distance with boundaries. He still came home. We still discussed bills, errands, the day, but his eyes no longer lingered. His laughter slowed, softened. Good night became final. One evening, I found him in the living room, scrolling through his phone. Hesitant, I asked, "Can we talk?" He nodded but didn't look up. "I've been thinking," I whispered, voice shaking, "about that night, about us. Sorry isn't enough, but I need to say it anyway." He finally met my eyes, unreadable. "You owe yourself honesty, Emily. You went because something inside you was already gone. I can't rebuild what isn't there." "I want to fix it," I murmured. He shook his head softly. "Sometimes fixing it means letting go." Those words lingered long after he left. A month later, Daniel moved out. Quietly. No slam doors, no fights. Just a note on the counter. "I hope you find whatever it is you're still searching for." I read it daily for weeks, until guilt turned to clarity. I had sought to feel alive again, but in chasing it, I destroyed something real. Now when I passed the mirror, I barely recognized the woman staring back. She got what she wanted, feeling alive, but lost everything she hadn't realized she already possessed. And every time a door creaks at night, I still half expect Daniel to be there, bathed in blue light, waiting. But the couch is empty. This time, it wasn't him who stopped trying. It was me.